So much, Laura. Now, final preparations are underway for the Paralympics in Tokyo, with the opening ceremony taking place tonight.
Well, the inspiring event will see a 227-strong Paralympics GB squad competing, including a record number of female athletes.
We're joined now by presenter of The Last Leg, Alex Brooker, whose experience of what... Can I just ask you how you feel today, knowing had your injury worked out differently, you would have been there?
Yeah.
Poster girl at this year's Games. Am I rubbing salt in the wound now? I'm sorry.
A little bit, maybe. No, I've definitely processed it.
A big impact on you, didn't it? But how important do you think it is for people to really get into Paralympics, to embrace it, to celebrate it, and to see how amazing and inspiring all these achievements are?
I think what I found...
The flag bearers tonight is, alongside Ellie Simmons, is John Stubbs, 68-pint blood transfusion after being run over twice, had his right leg amputated. He's 56 years old, Britain's most successful archer. I mean, we talk about inspiration.
Yeah, I've played a bit of wheelchair rugby.
So we look forward to seeing you back in action soon. Hope the injury clears up. Thanks both very much.
Back tomorrow from 6 with both of us, but now it's over to Christine, who's in for Lorraine. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Lisa and Nandi, we'll be speaking to Pen Farthing shortly. He's in Afghanistan. He runs the animal sanctuary. He's been talking to us regularly on this programme about his struggles to get his staff out of there. So we'll speak to him about the latest on that. And also we'll have a catch-up with Dr Hillary about the latest consequences of a music festival in Cornwall and what that meant for cases. But that's coming up. Thank you to Andrew and thank you to Nadine. Still to come this morning, the Summer of Sport continues with the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. We'll be looking ahead to all the action with Alex Brooker and champion swimmer Alice Ty after 8 o'clock. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV.
I just wanted to say thank you to the viewer that spent so much time.
We thank you very much for that. Let's find out what's happening with the weather now. Laura is at Painshill Park this morning. Morning, Laura.
Phew, today's going to be a...
Hello again. Now, we've been following former Royal Marines Commando Pen Farthing and his desperate effort to get the 25 staff working at his animal charity, their families and all the beloved animals out of Afghanistan. We spoke to Pen yesterday, revealing a vital piece of information from the UK government was holding his rescue mission back, which we then put to the Armed Forces Minister, James Heapy.
So all sounding very hopeful there this time yesterday, but in the past 24 hours, those hopes appear to be dashed. We're joined now by Pen Farthing in Carbon between, this week at some point. Could you still get on that plane? And is the question about where it might land possibly the issue, in that the airport that we're all talking about has got military aircraft going in and out of it, and of course the one that you're talking about would be a commercial plane, which of course wouldn't have the same perhaps capabilities as a military aircraft. Could that be part of the problem? Turn on a pinhead there, can't it? And let's hope it swivels again for you, as it did in the last 24 hours, and let's hope in the next 24 hours something else can happen.
We will be putting all of
that
this
can
to
change your
Wallace, to the Defence Secretary when we speak to him. So still to come this morning. With a week before the deadline...
And say there will be consequences if the mission isn't completed by the end of this month.
Well, at today's virtual G7 meeting, the UK is expected to urge President Biden to delay the withdrawal of US forces, with thousands still trying to flee. We're now joined by the Shadow Foreign Secretary, Lisa...
...to get hold of any funds from the International Monetary Fund. And therefore, the idea of sanctions, essentially, is what you're talking about. That in itself is still quite controversial, isn't it? Because when we talk about sanctions... it will hit the Afghani people who are already suffering. And so are you saying that that is a risk worth taking today and in these following days, if it gets to the point where Biden is willing to have that conversation with the Taliban, that he threatens sanctions in order to get an extension to the deadline?
Thanks very much.
It's coming up to 10 to 8. Still to come, Tito Jackson has got the blues. The legendary musician is here with us live in the studio as he releases his brand new solo album and prepares for the Jacksons' first gig since the pandemic began. That's next. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV.
Hello again. Now, 50 years ago, Tito Jackson was a teenage pop icon riding high with the global phenomenon, the Jackson 5. Today, he's a titan of the music world with a UK concert and a new album under your spell.
Stevie Wonder, jazz legend George Benson, some of the famous names collaborating on with Tito on the album. Well, welcome to Good Morning Britain.
Thank you for having me.
So you arrived yesterday. You're here because you're performing.
Yes, I am.
Tell us.
Being able to perform, not to be able to do that, get the reaction from the audiences.
Well, I took advantage. Yeah, so it was quite easy. I spent the time working on my project.
I love that you can just call up Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
And you fancy it.
Yeah, well, he's been...
Still, you know, music is obviously your life, it's your thrill. Does it still, you know, give you a buzz when you wake up in the morning?
Well, writing a song...
The single We Just All Love One Another...
Yes.
It's a cracking single. I mean, it's such a good tune. And I love the fact on the video you featured so many different people in it, don't you? And I know there's a strong message with this one that you're trying to put across, isn't there?
Well, it's at a time when your brothers is your brothers and your sisters are your sisters. If you have any, you know what I'm talking about.
It's about how the voice changes. I mean, your voice has obviously changed over the years.
I've always
you sing
had
those same songs, do you?
I've always had the lowest voice.
You know, to keep changing, to keep moving forward. I mean, we see it with this latest single of yours, to keep being relevant, that has kept you at the forefront for so long.
Music, I have a large family.
You have a large family. And we can see you on stage this weekend?
This Saturday at the Happy Days Festival.
At the Happy Days Festival. I hope you get some sleep before then.
I hope so, too.
You may need it.
Grateful for you coming in to talk to us this morning. It's great to see you. Thanks so much.
Tito
Thanks
Jackson,
for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's go to Laura with the weather from Painshill
Park, also in
Painshill
Surrey,
Park.
not too far away from where you'll be, Tito. Have a look. It's looking glorious this morning.
Phew.